How can we overcome the emotional attachment and fear of death of our child? Dr. Uma Ravi, you asked this question, and I'm going to give you an answer that hopefully will benefit a whole lot of people in our channel. Be blessed by the divine. This is Krish Murali from simplifiedkundaliniyoga.com. About 15 years ago, I think, one fateful evening, a son, about 12 years old son of a friend of ours, had gone with his driver in a two-wheeler to bring his birthday cake. The next day was his birthday cake. On the way back home, he was hit by a lorry and the boy died on the spot. Excruciatingly painful news when we heard it. I can't even imagine how terrifying and how horrible it would have been for their parents. I did rush to the hospital to see the boy, see the parents. The father was stoic, and he remained stoic for about 3 or 4 months later, I heard. Can't imagine the loss of this boy. It led us to wonder, why do children die at such a young age? We did ask our Guru, Yogiraj Sri Vedatri Maharishi, this question. Why, Swamiji? Why should children be born? And what sin did that boy commit to really die? And he answered, and in fact he has written this answer in his books as well. Till the age of 12, a child has only Sanchita karma. The karma, the sin imprints that he has inherited from his father and mother. In order to cleanse the genetic center of the parents, the child is born. However, the pain of such sin imprints, the weight of such sin imprints could be so enormous for the child that nature would sometimes decide to end the life of the child and take the soul back to where it came from. The very purpose of the birth of the child was to die. Any child dying before the age of 12, guaranteed it is not because of the sin committed by the child, but because of the sin imprints carried over from the previous generation or generations to this child. Realizing that all of us are nothing but products of sin imprints of our parents, we have to understand our duty, therefore, is to cleanse our genetic center of sin imprints. By the time we even recognize and realize this truth, many of us would have gotten married and many of us will start to have children as well. And we begin then to wonder, what do we do now? Is there anything that we can do? Yes, we have a duty to perform. Let us today take a resolution that we shall not hurt anyone in body, mind or soul, and we shall help those who are hurt. Hurt can be in the form of words, deeds or thoughts. We must cleanse our genetic center in such a way that we must not cause hurt in our words, thoughts or deeds to self or others now or in the future, physically or mentally. This is resolution number 1. Number 2, we must take a resolution to help others who are hurt. If we do this and practice this on a regular basis, this is the greatest duty that we can do to our children, who are, of course, carrying the sin imprints from our genetic center, and they will have to go through their karma, and they will keep adding to their karma as well after the age of 12 in the form of prarabdha karma and akamiya karma, and for which they are responsible for their actions, and consequences have to be dealt by them in their lifetime. So when we take affirmative action in order to cleanse our genetic center, and to help others whom we have hurt in our life, then the children will see us as an example and will then take affirmative action themselves when the time is right, when they are totally convinced that we are being authentic and genuine in our efforts to cleanse our genetic center. They will take us as a role model and do good for the world. And eventually they too will get their karmic imprints cleansed, their genetic center cleansed of sin imprints, and become one with the Almighty Force. Self-realization is possible only through salvation. Salvation is possible only when we give up hurting others and we help those whom we have hurt. Certainly, this is not an extremely difficult thing to do. Yes, of course, it may sound difficult because we have two things that are stopping us from doing this: ego and illusion. It is possible to overcome both through the process of Kundalini Yoga. When our mind is focused on our own life force, Kundalini Shakti at the Agna, Sahasrara and the Duryatita chakras, we go to the alpha level, theta level and delta level of frequency. And in those levels, the subtle levels of frequency, wisdom dawns on us that we are a fraction of the totality. So are our children. The very purpose of all our birth is to cleanse our genetic center and become one with the Almighty Force. Once you come to realize this, you will not have any fear of death, because we have come here with a clear mandate to die. The mandate is to cleanse ourselves, realize ourselves, and prepare ourselves to merge with the Almighty Force. That is the greatest way of living and the best way of dying. And if that is going to happen for all of us, if we can set an example for our children to follow, why should we be afraid of our death? And why then should we be afraid of the death of our children? When the time comes, they will certainly finish their duty and go back to the Almighty Force. If that is their karma, if that is the purpose of their birth, be blessed by the Divine. Our job is, as long as they are alive, as long as we are alive, we will do good to others and we will do good to ourselves, and we will not fall prey to ego and illusion, get swayed by pleasure and pain, but meditate, go to subtle levels of frequency, overcome Maya, overcome ego, overcome the imprints of sin, and move towards peace and ecstasy. Dr. Uma Ravi, I hope this answers your question. Thank you so much for your question. Thank you all for listening to this video. Thank you for being a loyal subscriber of this particular channel. Feel free to comment on this video. I'm happy to answer your questions in whichever form I believe that I am best equipped to answering it. Perhaps your question may trigger the next video for me. And God bless you. May all the Almighty Force and all the good things happen to you. May the Almighty Force shower you with good health, long life, enough wealth, peace, prosperity, fame and wisdom. Be blessed by the Divine.